Welcome to the Scale Up podcasts for B2B. This is the second in a short series of 6 shows that explains the how surrounding the importance of changing your business sales operations to digital selling. We had a bit of a technical issue at the beginning, but we've recovered. And this week's show is about the importance of the right content for communicating to B2Bs. You can, of course, listen and watch this as a live recording on our website. I hope you enjoy. Welcome. That's the point of live. See, I can cut all of that out when I do the editing. Now, today, that kind of throws you out, and it's not about the errors or anything like that happens. It's never about the errors. It's always how you recover. So you're seeing me try and recover now, right? The point of today's show, it's about content, and the whole thing with content is that without it, things kind of fall apart. But the point is that we need to focus on content first. It's the foundation of everything that's going to happen from engagement and customers and prospects, and everything is underpinned by content. And if we go on to this stuff to begin with, in terms of the show, we're going to cover content and marketing. What's going wrong there? It's very specific and really, really important. We've then got dark funnel, dark social. I'm not going to read all of that to you, but you can read that yourselves anyway. But the point is that having a proper grasp on content will change your perspective on the companies that you're working for. And it's really, really, really critical. The rest of our strategy to do with live streaming or anything like that, without good content, it will fail. It will just be a flash in the pan. Nothing will happen. Damp squib. Okay. So, just to recap, our target market are business owners and CEOs, CROs, CGOs, VPs of sales and salespeople. I'm really specific about this. This is not for marketing. Yeah, this is not for marketing people. And there's a specific reason. My view, marketing have had 25 years to get this right and they've failed. And I'm going to explain the reasons why and why content is such a critical part of this. So if you understand this thing about content, if you get it right, it will change your future. Honestly, it will. And the reason it will change your future is because you will have a better understanding of what it is your customers are actually looking for, your prospects are actually looking for. So it might sound a bit twee, but if your prospect is well educated by you, it's easier to sell to them. And the better, the more effective way that you deliver that is it reduces friction, increases margins. It's like, yeah, I get it, I understand. There's less of a sale. You don't have to put them down that funnel, that answer their questions and handle the objections and take them through that path. I get it, I want it, let's get on with it. That's the objective of all of this. This isn't about, well, you're in sales, get on with it. We'll work over here and do our stuff over here, and you can do your stuff over there. Yeah, and that's what you kind of got to get to understand is that I'm not saying sales go and do marketing. I'm saying sales have got to understand exactly what they're up to and why they're up to it, why they're doing it. It's really, really important. It's essential because you're like this. Because of that. Now, Google it. Not now, watch me, but Google it later. Dark funnel, dark social. These are 2 terms that have recently come around because marketers are saying that customers, prospects, don't follow a linear pattern, a linear path, as described regarding the funnel. Top, middle, bottom of the funnel, recycle, blah, blah, blah. You've heard it all before. Nonsense. Dark social. Well, it's just like, well, actually, the reason we say that is we don't really know what they're doing on social media. Really? You mean to say that all those directors that you've been trying to cold call are not living their lives on social media? They're running companies. That's what you're telling us, and then they're not actually there. Yeah, maybe something like that. So that logic, dark social and dark funnel, is for a reason. And the reason behind it is that people within marketing have been trained up, taught, impressed upon by big tech, martech to communicate B2C. And all the B2C sites, I'm generalising here with being hobby sites, but all the B2B sites, B2B sites are underpinned, communicated, strategized as if they were consumer websites and consumer companies. But so you look at a hobby site. A hobby site's got banners at the top, down the side, skyscrapers, and the ones at the bottom, the footers. Now, why have they got these banners on there? Because, well, you write about your hobby, people are interested in it, they go to your website and they get paid by the advertisers via AdSense and Google. So you think, okay, that kind of makes sense for them, but we're a business. Exactly, you're a business. You wouldn't be putting somebody else's remarketing adverts on your website. You wouldn't do that. You don't do that. So, bearing in mind that we've got this situation where you've got hobbies, you've got people buying stuff from hobby sites and all this kind of stuff, how is that supposed to impact you as a business? Well, have a look at these people. You know these people. You know who they are and what they do. Now, the interesting thing here, Zoom info. So you use Zoom info, firmographic data, yada, 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 put it into Salesforce, and you understand the size and profitability of the company, whether they can afford you or not. Cognizant, similar thing, really, isn't it? Not if you look at that again. Cognizant now use Bombara. Bombara are a company that monitors that. They monitor traffic on consumer websites, blend it with a data lake for business data. So now your staff, you as salespeople, you're being given this information. Oh, this is great. We've got all these mobile numbers now. So you can now phone managing directors at home when they're at home on a Saturday morning, or not that you would, but you know what I mean. The reason they've got their mobile numbers is because if people make a consumer purchase, that information goes somewhere. It's picked up, scraped. They combine the consumer data lake information with the business data lake information and the reverse IP lookup, such as lead forensics, Candy, demand-based, and so on. Match the two together, bingo, you've got everybody's information. You can phone them anytime, anywhere. How to really upset your prospects. Phone them on their mobile that they know they never gave you. So it's a big problem. So the content and drive is based upon, the mentality is based upon consumer, getting hold of consumer information. And so it doesn't work. So salespeople get it in the neck. Figures are rubbish. Pipeline's no good. And you end up getting moved on. Look, there's no plan. We can't really support you. We can't really fund you. We can't really carry you any longer. We're going to have to let you go. You go, okay. Everybody understands that. But what about the content? Because this stream is about content. What about the content? The problem with content is that when you produce content, when they produce content, when marketing produce content, copywriters tend to write short, scant, few paragraph long content pieces. Now, the problem with that is that they need to be longer. There's a method. I come on to that next in the next slide, but there's a structure to that. But in the same way that a sales director or anybody in that senior management would say to a salesperson, sorry, service is no longer needed and you're being fired, why isn't the content fired for not performing? Nobody looks at it like that. So, well, it's just content, is it? No, it's not. This is the foundation of your business. This is the foundation of every single prospect you get. You speak to a prospect that might be mildly interested. Well, I'll have a look at your website. I'll have a look at the content. I'll see what you've got. They want to be educated. Gartner say they want to be educated. Everyone wants to be on the Gartner quadrant. So therefore, educate your prospects the way that Gartner tell you to educate your prospects, because 83%, I think, is 100%, because personally, they want to self-educate before engaging with a salesperson. The only way they're going to do that is through content. So if the content's not doing what it should do, get rid of it. Edit it. Enhance it. That's what Google expects you to do through sitemap software. It's within the sitemap software, it says, how frequently do you want us to come back and look at all your content to see if it's been changed? Because you could change the heading, you can change the title, you can change body content, you can update it, you can change it because of the date. I don't know, any reason, doesn't matter. But Google expect to come back and recrawl it. So because of that, Google have got a structure. And in terms of the structure, it's been around for a long time, but it's not used. You go, well, what have we got to do? Well, top right, yeah, that's the kicker. 15 to 1700 words. You think, well, that's quite long. Yeah, 250 words a page. Yeah, 6 pages, give or take. 6 pages of A4, 11 point. But then you've got to have bullets and numbers and number lists and bullet lists and pictures and graphics. It's got to be a rich, engaging piece of content. Why? Well, Google would rank it. If you wrote it and did that, Google would rank it. They crawl it and index it and rank it and put it in their search engine. That's what this whole internet, interweb thing's all about, isn't it? You go, well, okay, so what you're saying is the 4-paragraph blogs that we've been knocking out are not really working. That's right, they're not working. And one of the fundamental things about people call them blogs. You're a business. You write articles, you don't write blogs. Yeah, you're not writing about woodworking or upcycling furniture. Yeah. Tell what I see look out on Facebook, but you see what I mean, yeah? You don't do that. You write articles because the articles that you're writing are there to educate. They're there to be thought leadership articles and so on. So there is a structure, that says this is what you should be doing. Why aren't you doing it? So it comes back to content again, comes back to you and what you are doing. So there's no point complaining about anything that's going on in your company. This applies to everybody, direct to downwards. Don't complain about it. Come up with a solution. But most people think no other solution exists because everybody does the same thing. Everybody does demand gen, lead gen, ABM, ABX. Everybody does automation. Sprinkling a few events here and there. Everybody does the same thing. So how do you expect to beat anybody? And I mentioned in the last live stream. If everyone's doing the same thing, then surely to goodness everybody would be turning over the same amount of money. Yep, 100%. If you do it in dollars, 144 grand per person per annum around the world. Companies from 20 employees up to, I don't know, I think it was Infosys or Cognisys, 10,000 plus employees and so on around the world. 30, I think it was about 30,000 with Infosys. They were a bit lower, admittedly, but most of their employees live in Asia. So everybody's doing the same thing. Everybody's turning over the same amount. Everybody wants to do more. Go and buy a company, increase your turnover, take on 50 more people and do 5 million a year more. Nothing special there. Still 100 grand per person per annum. So what you want to do, clearly what you want to do, is be in a position where you're producing this great content, but you're able to be different. You're able to differentiate yourselves from your competition. That's what this game is all about. So, forget about being like everybody else. You've been, to kind of put it nicely, there is no nice way of putting it, you've been mugged. You've been sold a lie. You've been misled by big tech martech have told their advocates who are the marketing people, this is what you need to do. They've told you what you need to do. You've gone off and bought it. You're the ones with the software and the SaaS and everything else, but not getting any of the results. You're not getting the leads you want or the engagement with your prospects. Why? It's no different with your company or the next company or the next company. Everybody's got the same problem. So you go, well, if we produce all this content, we've been told nobody's going to read it. It's going to be too long or whatever. Work with me on this, right? Say, look, Star Wars. You go, well, yeah, of course we know Star Wars. Love it. Lord of the Rings, Alien. What it doesn't matter, right? These are blockbuster trilogies, and not just trilogies. They're series of films. People binge watch them. Why? Why do people binge watch Netflix? It's because it's engaging. None of this too long didn't read. If it's engaging, you read it. It's a bit like, could you imagine sending your kids off to university and the kids come around and go, well, if that lecturer doesn't deliver it in like 5 minutes, I'm out of here. It's like I'm clock watching. I'm not. If you don't want to learn, don't do it. It's the same with the content. If your content is educational, if it's going to make a difference, and bearing in mind, your prospects want your content to be different. They want to learn from it. You're telling them that what's going to happen is it's going to teach them. It's going to change their revenue. It's going to deliver an ROI. There's going to be a reason to do it. But think of the pressure. This is what we're told. Yeah, we're told TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, the whole social media thing is instant. You've got to do a video that's like this, and it's got to hit the mark within seconds. And if you don't, and then you've got to keep producing more and more and more and more and more. Rubbish. Not for business. I mentioned before about this. I did that schedule on the left 3 years ago. Like I said, this journey's been about learning how things work, because they weren't working and they're not working for people now. It's still not working. And the point of this is that even with AI, there's a link below there, and it's in the description, but there's that link, that URL for YouTube. I saw this guy the other day, and he was saying, ChatGPT is amazing and wonderful and everything else. And he said, we sell men's clothing. He was an English guy, lived in Italy. And he goes, right, this is amazing. I'm going to blast through this and show you exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to do it live. So we went through, went on to ChatGPT and said, do you understand it? This is what I want to do. Okay. Do you understand that? Yes, I do. Provide me with a 15-point outline that I can talk about men's clothing to do with funerals. Yeah, pretty specific. Then, okay, so he gave the outline. Then he said, now explain each of these outlines, explain these in detail. And so ChatGPT went through each one of them and gave like 3 or 4 paragraphs for each of the outline headings for this 15-point article on clothing. It's very special. It's great. And it could be any subject you can imagine. And then he said, it wasn't throwaway at the end. He says, so what you need to do, you need to add into here your table of contents at the top, and your bullets and numbers, number lists and graphics and pictures and videos and links and internal linking. And there's your content, and it got ranked within 2 hours. You think, wow, but we're not consumer. No, you're not. So the thing is, why? What's the deal? So why go to all that effort to get a gold star from Google, saying, oh, so we've got this, but we're talking about consumer here. So just consider this for a second. So here we go. The reason that you want to do or follow a Google template for all of your content is because you want to engage your prospects. And it doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter what content you do. You are expected to provide rich content, not throwaway, scant, bland stuff. Yeah. And the other part and problem, marketers have for a long time said that you need to write for personas. So you've got all this content. Imagine multiplying. I saw a thing on GB News saying that there were the multi-genders, yeah? Now, that causes a problem if you're going to do persona marketing. So let's just not deal with that. Let's deal with what is the problem within a business, because the business has a problem. It doesn't matter who works for the business, they have the problem. So looking at this primary, secondary, general product and how to buy. Primary content is your educational content, your thought leadership stuff. That's what they're after. That's what they want to get their teeth into. Your secondary content is, podcasts. I can't read it, but it's podcasts and information, customer stories, that type of thing. You've then got, where are we? There we go. Customer stories, social proof, podcasts, videos, and so on. That's all secondary content. So once they've looked at your primary content, and we're learning about this, we're understanding, I think I'll have a look at see who your customers are. They go, okay, I wonder what they're like as a company. Let's have a look at their CSR, ESG, whatever, latest PR stuff. Oh, look, someone new joined. Oh, look, someone had a baby. I can't imagine every managing director really being that concerned about it. But that is information that is relevant to your business, because it will be interesting to some people, even if it is just your staff. But there's a valid place for it, for general information. But primary and secondary is key. You've then got your product. Obviously, but you've got how to buy, how to install, how to implement, how to understand, what about best practices, all that type of stuff. And also FAQs. That comes under your product. So, and finally, you've got how to buy. I mean, you do show people how they can buy from you. You have got order forms on your website. You can take an order digitally, can't you? Tongue in cheek, but you know what I mean. That's what the point of this is, if you're going to be doing digital selling. So if you've got all of this, this is a structure, a logical structure for people and businesses to look at and go, we get it. We understand this. This makes sense. Persona marketing and blogs and so on are a complete and utter waste of time, because whenever any content is produced by marketing, they chuck it behind an email form and then demand that your prospects fill out a form with their email name and address and telephone number and everything else to give to marketing BDRs to go and phone up, which just annoys the I was going to say something, but it just annoys the hell out of everybody. Nobody wants cold calls, nothing. I saw this thing on LinkedIn yesterday. It was a poll. Should marketing learn how to do telesales? To understand the pain, thousands and thousands of responses to this poll. And I put a post up and said, no, don't do it. Don't do cold calling at all. Stop. BDRs hate doing it. It's a soul-destroying job, and every single person on the receiving end of a cold call hates it, without exception. Nobody said, I've had some great cold calls today. Said nobody ever. So there's no. So clearly there's this mismatch that we have to get business, but we actually don't really know how to do it. So, and that comes back to here. This really interesting book. You must get hold of it. He's a Nobel Peace Prize winner, and it's really, really key to everything you're doing in sales. And the decisions that you make, because there's thinking fast and slow. Thinking fast is instinctive, reactionary. So if you've been told to do the same thing over and over again, which you have been for the past 20 years by Big Tech Martech and the marketers that you've employed, you're going to think that what you're doing and the decisions that you make are reactionary, are instinctive, because you know. And this 6 series of videos, or live streams, are saying, no, Businesses don't know. You're just repeating what marketing have said, who are repeating what Martech have said, who are repeating what Big Tech have said, who own the Martechs. Yeah. So thinking slow is simply evaluating and taking time out and being considered, making considered decisions based upon research and evaluation. That's it. It's not complicated. And it gives you all these different examples, and the point of the different examples that it would give is because it makes you stop and think. And the most important thing on there, which one of the things that jumped out at me, page 66, I told you I read it, page 66 says it's repetition. Marketers use repetition, that's why we will keep doing what we're doing. So in terms of content, where does it go? What should we be doing and why? Well, the simple fact, this picture was Mid-Journey, by the way, it's an AI generated, but this content is consumed everywhere. So someone's got an iPhone, which means they've got words and audio podcasts and video and live. So all four sitting on a train going from A to B. And that's the issue here. Anything's possible, anytime. Anyone can consume whatever they want whenever it suits them. So it's like, who are we ever in business to turn around and go, oh, we just write documents? It's like, really? Says who? Because people aren't consuming just documents. Quite the opposite, in fact. More people do searches on YouTube than on Google. So people want to watch, they want to engage. I mean, even with this, if I made a mistake, like last week, I showed how to look. You can plug in an iPhone and use that as a camera, and it cut my audio off. It's live. This week, we had a problem with transmission, with the scheduled transmission. Now I'm going to have a moan at someone straight after this. But the point of this is it's live. People want to see this live. People want to see what's going on, and we've got a different way of approaching all of this. So if you look at what content, what we're talking about, well, you've got loads. I mean, video, podcast, live stream, articles. Then the articles, you've got papers and documents and downloads and publications, and through to slide docs. Slide docs are great, by the way. We've got one of those under downloads. We've got a slide doc. You produce them in PowerPoint. So these are the documents that you give people in advance or afterwards. So it's a document about your presentation. I mean, I've put some bullets up there, but I don't read. I don't always. Well, you've seen. I don't read them out. They're predominantly pictures. A bit like this one. I'm not going to read them out. But the point of this. If you've got some time, do a search on YouTube and find Yeti. Yeti are they manufacture cooler boxes and vacuum mugs and stuff like that. But they're pretty rugged and loads of other stuff as well. Like I think they do backpacks and so on. But predominantly they're well known for doing insulated products. And we came across them. On YouTube and watched one. I think I've ended up watching about 50 of them. They're great. They're all customer stories, loads of different subject matters, but all about their customers who use their products. But where's Wally? The red and white stripe thing, and the kids look for the where's Wally in a picture. It's like that. Where's their product? Is it in the shop? Is it not in the shop? And sometimes you don't even see it at all because they're communicating about their customers. They're demonstrating to all of their prospects, all their potential customers. Yes, it's B2C. It doesn't matter. They're showing how important and how interested they are in their customers. And there's absolutely nothing stopping you doing the same thing. Nothing. Your customers will love you for it. You do a great 5, 10, 15, 20, 30, what doesn't matter. Do a documentary about them, how they started, where do they come from, who's involved, what they do there. And by the way, we use XYZ software to do with this, that and the other. As a passing comment. But do that, produce it, put it on there, post it out, share it around. People, they go, your company loves that customer. Look what they did for them. worth a fortune. Longevity for years, yeah, on your website for years. You don't need them singing your praises. You just need to show that you're interested in them. That's what selling's about. So it's really worth a look. Really, really worth a look. And the other one's just is an illustration, really. So one-man show, yeah. Here I am. I'm pressing a button. I'm changing the view. I'm looking at screens up here, making sure that the stream, the bit rate is okay, and that the volume levels are okay, and all this. And I'm moving my microphone. One-man show. But if you've got two people, that changes the chemistry, and you've got a bit of banter between them, and they're talking about different things and introducing other things and introducing video clips and introducing this and that and the other. It becomes really watchable. We're in the UK, so you watch Graham Norton, or if you're of an age, Parkinson, or you've watched Breakfast TV, or you've watched 6 o'clock one show. You've watched these different shows. The States have got all, whether it's Crowder or whether it's all the different talk shows over there. People love watching them. They'll go and sit in the audience. What do you think they'll do online? Constantly doing it online. And that's what this is about. This is all about content, all about a way of engaging and drawing your customers into you, but doing it in such a way that means that it's not going to cost a fortune. Far from it. Because what you're doing is, if there's one or two or three of you, plus a techie or whatever, but the fact that I'm doing this solo means there's not a massive cost in terms of human resources to do this, but the reach is spectacular. And that's what you've got to consider, that the reach is absolutely spectacular. One person could, if, I said before, you could message however many people, get them to come and watch it. Cost pennies. But I'm not going to talk about that just yet, because that's for next week. So just to kind of finish off on this, this is a big deal, and it's something you have to kind of think about, especially being a director, that you pay people whatever you pay them, and you expect them to perform. Of course you do. In every area of the business, you expect them to perform. You pay them a high salary for you to tell us what we need to do and to drive. Collectively, we drive our business forward. And they are telling you what to do. It's not the right thing. That's where it's really bad, really scary. I mean, for example, there are other scenarios where the directors are going, it doesn't really matter about marketing. It's never worked properly. I'm going to drive this. I'm going to call the shots in terms of marketing. All you're doing is acting as a fanboy or girl for the MarTech companies, just repeating through repetition, going back to Daniel Kahneman, through repetition, doing the same thing you've been told to go and do for the past 20 years. So it's a bit of in my view, it's a bit of a mess in terms of how businesses are attempting to move forward. And the big kicker is, so if your average turnover is 144 grand per person per annum, and that's the average, anything below that, you've got a problem. But Microsoft's $1 million, Google's $2 million per person per annum. So there's a lot of scope for you. Massive scope for you. So the point, we've covered these aspects, and the point is, if you as an organisation and you as individuals, because you can't back everything off to marketing. It was not my problem. It is your problem. It's always been your problem, because whilst you've been told, leave it to marketing, follow the marketing, and no. That's when it became your problem, because marketing are getting it wrong. You can write an article about a prospect or about a customer, about the problems they encountered, how they solved them, how your product actually worked and changed the way that they did things and improved X, Y, and Z and changed this ROI. You can write about that. You can be as detailed as you like. You can write that business case. Marketing can't. They don't sell. You sell. They're admin. Salespeople have targets. Admin have KPIs. That's my view. And they'll fight, like I said last week, they'll fight to keep budget. Even the MarTech people will look to educate them how to construct an argument to hold on to budget so you can keep paying them. It's bizarre, really bizarre. And so let's assume what you've done what you're going to do over the next 7 days is look at and evaluate all of your content and what you're doing. What's gated, not gated, what works, what doesn't work, what's been written, what hasn't been written, what could be written. You've got a week to do that. And next week, we're going to go through the stages and steps to get your business ready for digital selling, which means looking to reach out at scale. And that's really exciting because selling's a numbers game, right? We all know it is. So who's going to manipulate and orchestrate the numbers? And you've got to know how to do it. It's not complicated and it's not expensive. It's pennies. I mean, talking pennies. Like, for argument, £2 a day, it's 50 quid a month to do what you need to do, because there's a specific logic to it. Yes, you can do pay-per-click, and you can guarantee if you've got a 10 grand budget, that 10 grand budget will go. It is unrelenting. It will take your money, but you don't get the leads. Look at how many leads you've had over the past 10 years. Look how many inbound leads you've got from the website in 10 years. It doesn't work. We know it doesn't work. Dark funnel, dark social, should be dark pay-per-click. But anyway, so that's what we've got lined up for next week. I hope you enjoyed it. It's a bit of a strange thing to say. I hope you grasp what I'm saying, that the first part of this is to understand what the foundation is of the business, and it has to be the content. The content must deliver what prospects are looking for first. Otherwise, there's no point having a conversation with you. Because if you've got no information, you've got nothing to teach me, nothing to show me, nothing to give, you're no good to me. So if you present a logical, structured argument over multiple pieces of content, then that's what they want. That's how we have always purchased. We've always bought stuff like that. You buy a car, they go, oh, this salesman came up to me and I just happened to buy a car. You wanted a car, you looked at it for years. You went and bought one and you poured over the technical stats and everything else. The desire was strong enough, you wanted it. You want a sofa, you bought a new sofa because the string was in your backside. You got fed up with it, so you went and bought a new sofa. You're not going to apply the same logic to business. It's like, we need to move forward. We need to move forward profitably. How do we do it? And if you can deliver that, like this, and however you do, happy days. You're away. So that's it from me. Next week, that's what we're going to talk about next week. Communicating on autopilot at massive, massive scale. Looking at growth and contractors, how to get this happening quickly, because it's all about speed. And talking about speed, it's about how your website performs, why it should perform, how it should perform in terms of your operations, and the content stack. And of course, we've got analytics there. Not everybody's favourite subject, but without it, you fail. And Tag Manager, well, no marketer is going to like Tag Manager, because when you know how long someone's been on a page and if they've been there and where do they come from, where do they go to, and you go, well, actually, that shows that your content's rubbish. Don't like it. But like I said before, you need to know. You need to know about this. Not to go and do it yourself. It's never about this. These 6 shows are not about teaching you to go and do it yourself. We'll talk about that another time. Do you want us to do it? Do you want your own team to do it and get them trained up to go and do it? but that's it's important. If you've got a complaint, if you're not happy with something, you must understand what's happening in order to know what to do in the future. That's it. Bye for now.